Oh my god, it's an Ewok versus Palpatine.
Help me.
Run, little dude, run. Oh no. Oh my god, he actually killed him. Oh man, I love this game. Now, I don't normally do videos on multiplayer games. I think the last one I did was a couple years ago for Unreal Championship of all things, but given how I did a 2-hour-long retrospective on Jedi Academy, I couldn't move on until I at least did a video on what is one of the greatest multiplayer mods for any game out there, the Movie Battles 2 mod. Now, as you might expect with this mod being for Jedi Academy, it has been around for a long time. However, despite its original version being released over 20 years ago, it still has a pretty active player base and still receives many updates, keeping everything running very smoothly. I'm not saying there was a ton of servers most nights I played, but every time I wanted to play, there was always people online to play with, which again is crazy for an over 20-year-old mod. Now, just for a heads up, I have only been playing this mod on and off for a couple months now, so if I say anything that's a little off, please feel free to correct me in the comments below, I won't be offended. But I will say this, fortunately, even as a new player to this 20-year-old mod, everything is decently straightforward, and the community has been fairly friendly and helpful as well. Plus, it helps that everything is just open to you right from the start. You see, while other games out there are nickel and diming people for basic features that we had decades ago, Movie Battles lays it all out on the table for you. You want to play as the Dark Lord Malak? Hey, go ahead and have fun, you Sith Lord, you.
This is but a taste of the dark side.
Just got done playing Republic Commando? Well, get in there and take down some droids already.
We'll beat these clankers, metal monsters.
Just feel like messing around as R2? Well, have fun aggravating everyone by flying around so no one can hit you. Pretty much every character you can think of is here, from ones that make sense like Stormtroopers and Jedi to fun ones like an axe-wielding Jabba the Hutt or a battle droid with C-3PO's head attached.
Die, Jedi, die! What did I say?
What is pretty crazy here is that somehow, despite this being a round-based elimination type game, every class and character is somehow both overpowered in some ways, yet balanced out due to the overpowered nature of just everyone else. A clone trooper can totally take down a Sith if he isn't careful, and that same clone trooper can easily be killed by Salacious Crumb if he lets him get too close. Don't get me wrong, a good Jedi can turn the tide of a whole game from what I've seen, but every class at least has some weakness that can be exploited by smart players. And you know what? Let's go ahead and take a moment to look at the classes because the way they're implemented is just awesome. So the mod has a few game modes, but its main mode is open. This mode is an elimination round based mode where you have attackers trying to accomplish different objectives or just take out the entire enemy team. These objectives could be breaking into the throne room on Naboo or saving Frozen and Carbonite Han from being escorted into the Slave One. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. We can't say Slave One anymore. It's just Boba Fett Starfighter now. Disney. Either way, the different levels have different objectives for each team to either attack or defend, but what makes these games so much fun is more of how all the different classes play and interact with others. You see, each side has a set of classes that all have their own abilities with a wide assortment of character models to choose from. You're also given a set amount of points to choose your weapons and abilities for each class as well, so if you want that sweet rocket launcher for your ARC Trooper, you will need to subtract some points from other weapons or armor abilities to get it. Now, the balancing here works in a pretty unique way. For example, a Jedi/Sith might be more powerful in many ways with lightsaber and force powers, but you only have one life per round, and if you don't play intelligently, you can quickly be gunned down. While the far weaker soldier class can have up to 3 lives, giving them multiple chances to land a lucky blaster shot, or to even sacrifice themselves to distract the Jedi so another teammate can move in for the kill. So while Force users might have to play somewhat more cautiously at times, soldiers can just run right forward, secure in the knowledge that they have more lives to use. What's actually kind of cool here is that while a couple classes like Soldier and Jedi have their own equivalent for each side, the other classes are pretty much faction specific and play wildly different from one another. For starters, the light side gets unique classes like Clone Troopers that have 2 lives and are pretty much a stronger soldier with more health and better weapons, and the class I probably have enjoyed playing the most due to their simplicity. You also have the ARC Troopers that only have one life, but better weapons and have combat skills like dexterity, which prevents them from being knocked down by any force powers or explosives, which is very helpful. Next is the hero units, like Leia and Porkins here, for example. They can use snipers, healing abilities, as well as much more. They make for a pretty good long-range unit, and due to all the character skins you can choose from, they can be a fun class just to mess around with.
I'm right with you, Red 3.
Last but not least for the light side unique classes, we have the Wookiees, which have very high health and powerful melee damage that can just shred through the enemy at times. And believe me, it is terrifying seeing a Wookiee charging at you in this game. They are just monsters in close range combat. Now on the other side of things, the dark side gets a few special classes as well, starting off here with the Bounty Hunters, which are similar to the Heroes class in that they get some precision weapons too, but also have access to things like the Poison Dart and Disruptor Rifle. Plus, they have an HK-47 model, so how can you not love them?
What is it you wish, that one?
The dark side also gets the Mandalorian class, that allows for jetpacks and even rockets and flamethrowers. They really seem to be a good anti-Jedi class in my experience so far, and are also great for setting up ambushes. You also can't forget the Droideka class, which is pretty hard to use effectively and one I rarely see people playing as. However, when I have seen people playing as them, they are pretty destructive with their shields and powerful blasters. They seem to do a really good job at blocking off hallways and just locking people down. One that really surprised me here was the Super Battle Droids. They kind of took the Republic Commando idea and made them into a totally separate unit from the base battle droids, and instead made them this large and tanky class with high amounts of firepower. Interestingly, instead of having just basic ammo and simple armor, they have a battery that helps their armor provide extra defense and powers their blasters. So being in combat too much will really start draining that battery pretty quickly. However, you can go into a low power mode to help recharge your battery, however then you'll no longer be able to fire your blaster while doing so. Just a really cool idea for a class. Now, as I already mentioned, the Soldier class has basic weapons and health, but makes up for it with 3 lives, plus it has a ton of character skins to mess around with. However, each side also has a Commander class that has more powerful weapons, unique grenades, and the ability to allow soldiers to spawn on them. I will also add that the fire grenades they carry are pretty great at just locking down an area as well. That leaves us with the iconic Jedi and Sith. To be honest, this is the class I am least familiar with because boy do I suck as them. In my defense, people have been playing this game for decades longer than me, but fortunately there are some great YouTubers like Scalius here who have created full videos breaking down how to use the new lightsaber combat system. So thank you Scalius, or I would have no way of knowing what the hell I was doing here. Now I'll try to keep this short because his video goes into great detail, and if you want to play this game you should definitely go and check it out. The system here is still loosely connected to Academy's system, but they have made quite a few changes here. For one, now you have blocking points, where every time you block a strike you actually lose points unless you get a perfect block by manually looking towards the strike when it happens. Because of this blocking system, the strikes are also a little slower and more telegraphed, and because of that, it makes it so the duels that you see going on sometimes between two people who really know what they're doing go on for quite a while and can be pretty intense. Now, when Jedi are against other classes instead of dueling other Force users, similar rules still apply, where deflecting blaster shots will actually drain their Force powers, which will then open them up to damage. Obviously, getting behind them will still really ruin their day, and explosives are never a bad idea against them as well. The real pain here is their Force powers. In the open mode, they'll mostly just use Force push or pull, knocking over most classes pretty easily and pushing back grenades. However, the other classes can prevent being pushed down by walking instead of running to negate it. And once they use a Force power, they're actually completely open to blaster fire, unable to deflect it anymore. So if you can trick them into kinda trying to knock you down, you can hopefully land some clean shots on them and take them out. Now, again, I'm still pretty new to this game, so please correct me in the comment section if I got any of that wrong. To be honest, I've probably spent more time so far playing as a sexy Leia with a sniper than I did dueling as a Jedi or Sith, so some of my knowledge might be a little off when involving them, just for a heads up. Even though I do wish I was better at the lightsaber combat, thanks to all the other classes, there are still so many ways to play that if you aren't very good at one, you can always try a few others to figure out what you like. And if you would like even more options, then the Legends game mode has you covered on that as well. Legends is still the same kind of elimination-based mode as Open, except here all the characters have unique loadouts and abilities that match who they are. If you play as Canderous Ordo, you get his repeater, his swords, his health recharge, all like he had in Knights of the Old Republic. This is also where you can play as more fun characters like T3M4 or Salacious Crumb, or my personal favorite here, the Ewoks with their bows and spears. For those who don't know, one of my relatives was actually an Ewok in episode 6, so I always gotta show them some love. To be honest, I probably like this mode even more than the Open mode just because of the variety of weapons and abilities on display. It can be a little less balanced at times, but that really doesn't matter when it's just this much fun. The last game mode here is the one that I am probably least qualified to speak on. Mostly because this is where Jedi and Sith who actually know what they are doing go, and that is the duel mode. I will say, everyone I encountered while playing was very helpful and friendly, and if I had more time to sit down and really get into it, I probably would become a lot better. But I can easily see why people love this mode so much. I mean, every night I logged on, there was always servers open to join in the duel mode, which makes sense. This combat system is absolutely fantastic for those who choose to learn it. And for multiplayer, it is by far the best dueling system I have ever seen in a Star Wars game. So I'll be honest, I have no idea how it took me this long to find out about this mod. And I'm kind of disappointed that I missed out on the days when this mod was really at its peak. But fortunately, despite it being an over 20-year-old mod, it still has been able to retain a more consistent player base than some $40 million AAA games out there.
Come on, let's go!
Sorry, that was kind of a cheap shot. But in all seriousness, the team behind this mod have created something extremely fun and unique, and I will definitely be coming back to this long before I go and play any of the modern Battlefront games, because this is really a player-first experience, and like some of the other mods out there, it is a mod that's made by the fans, for the fans, and I just cannot help but love it. Well, I kind of think this makes for a good ending for my Dark Forces / Jedi Knight series of videos. Or does it? You see, I think I might have one more idea for a good video just to close this series out, and if you're interested in seeing what that video is going to be, make sure you of course subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified when it releases. Plus, if you haven't already, you can also check out the full Jedi Academy retrospective I did, which is a full 2-hour long video going through the game from start to finish. You can check out that over here to my left, or of course you can also check out the Movie Duels mod, which is also for Jedi Academy, over here to my right. Either way, hope you've really enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure of course you leave a like, comment down below, and I hope to be seeing you again real soon. Peace.